As a part of my applied piece, I decided to ask numerous staff and students of Sauhegan High School how they felt the school was protecting them from an intruder.
I mean, in the time that I've been here, I've never experienced an intruder, so I guess, yeah, I feel plenty safe. Plus the whole lockdown thing.
I'd say generally I feel really safe at Sauhegan. It's a great learning environment for the students. Only concern I would have is that not all of the doors lock, and where I went to high school, every single door is locked constantly and they were strictly monitored, and I feel like it's not quite the same here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I feel pretty safe at Sauhegan regarding intruder. I mean, I think it's a little bit weird that all the doors are unlocked, but I think we got our officer. I mean, I feel like not really many people are going to try to break in here, and if they try to break in here, we've got more numbers than them. We can fend them off.
Yes, I do. I trust the school to have a plan that will work well.
In general, I do feel safe with like a police officer always on campus because I do see him walking around a lot. But I do feel like our school is very open door and that an intruder is very accessible, and I don't think that we have enough ability to lock down the school in the case of emergency.
So what's currently being done by the police in town to ensure the safety of the students at Sauhegan?
Yeah, my name is John Smith. With the Amherst Police Department and School Resource Officer for Sauhegan High School.
I just had a few questions for you regarding internal incidents and how they're handled here at Sauhegan.
Sure.
So what's standard procedure for handling an intruder on campus?
So it all depends on like the nature of what the intruder is doing and what their actions are. I mean, the biggest thing would be if it's just like an upset parent or a disgruntled community member, I'd go to address them, try to find out what the issue is. If they need to be escorted off campus, we would do that.
So does this procedure change in any way if the intruder is armed?
If they're just armed and not doing anything, obviously there'd be a heightened level of concern. But you know, at this point, you're allowed to be armed in public buildings. So just the fact that they're armed, you know, would add a level of, you know, awareness for myself, but it necessarily wouldn't change the response.
So what kind of response would be expected of the police given a serious armed intruder on campus with intent to harm students or faculty?
So if there's actually like an active shooter situation going on, you know, the first priority is stop the killing. We've got to put an end to that. So do what it takes. It's no longer the days of, if you've done any research about Columbine where they waited for SWAT teams and time was delayed drastically. It's no longer like that. We get there, we get on scene, and we go right to the problem.
All right. So this is more of a textbook answer. This doesn't need to be for personal experience. But what circumstances constitute the use of lethal force against an intruder?
So it's basically if there's any threat of harm to myself or to any third party. You know, so if they're using lethal force, I can use lethal force.
And in the unfortunate circumstance that there is a death on campus due to a shooter, how would the aftermath be handled by the police?
So police-wise, I mean, if there's been a fatality on campus, then it becomes a crime scene. So we would process it, you know, like any other crime scene.
So seeing as the police have a plan, what's the administration's plan for keeping students safe?
John Young, Assistant Dean of Students.
All right, and so I just have some quick questions for you regarding how the school would handle an intruder. So what's standard procedure for handling just an unarmed intruder on campus?
An unarmed intruder? It would probably be, first contact would probably be with Linda Conley, and she would probably give me a call, and I would ask the purpose of the person's visit, and we'll go from there.
All right, so let's say, would this procedure change if the intruder was, say, carrying a firearm on him with, let's say, he doesn't seem intending to use it?
I think any time we know that somebody's carrying a firearm, Officer Smith would be called right away, regardless of his intentions.
And so let's say that in the unfortunate event that this intruder opens fire, what duties do you take upon yourself in that situation?
To be honest with you, and I don't hesitate saying this, I'm ducking. I mean, yeah, we're going to activate the, lockdown procedures. And then we just take cover. We just go through the procedures that, we have a lockdown procedure that we do practice here at school at least once a year. And we'll go right into that procedure. Just grab kids out of the halls and bring them into any room and lock it down.
And so, what measures are currently in place as a means of prevention for keeping something like this from happening or keeping weapons off of campus?
Well, I think with our school environment, we're definitely different. We do have the open campus. I think because we're smaller, we will notice a person walking around the school that really doesn't belong here. And we actually ask the students, just simply say, hey, can we help you? I know sometimes if somebody comes in this back door, I may not right away, but I will keep an eye on them until they go to their destination. Sometimes it's just going to Pam Paul's office, or I'll just make sure, I can bring them to Linda so they can get to the appropriate place.
And so, in the unfortunate event that there is a death on campus, whether that be from a shooter or a suicide or just an unfortunate accident, how is that handled by the school in terms of press and parents?
Yeah, what we do is we bring our crisis team together, okay, and then we'll make decisions from there because that's a whole wide variety of different things.
Mm-hmm.
What would the first thing we'd do is depending on what took place, do we have to evacuate? Do we have to bring kids back into the building if it was outside or something like that? So it's just, and then getting the team together and making decisions from there.